And we are live. Hey guys, hey everybody.
We are live. Oh, better look up, pay attention to the show. Hold on.
Hey, you're right there, Eric. Kind of just like, oh crap, I need to sort some stuff out.
And then I'm like, there's a giant spot of something on my glasses driving me crazy. They're going. I hate that.
Well,
you get old.
You should have got the clear vision from God. What is it from the advert? Like the Eve advert. The particular sunglasses that you can buy. You should have gone to those non-Specsaver places to get your glasses.
I got them.
You wouldn't have had issues.
No, my glasses just freaking get dirty, and I hate it. I'm so anal retentive. Okay, just in case anybody didn't know that. All right, that if I'm driving down the road and like 2 bugs hit my windshield, I have to go to the car wash.
You have to deal with it right there and then. That's fair. Yeah. Anyway, welcome everybody.
Go to the car wash.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Push to Talk. It is Saturday, the 16th of November, 2024. Welcome. Yeah, we have Dawn here and Eric here actually today, as well as myself.
Yeah.
I was going to say I was going to say Dawn is away in Canada, but in actual fact, she's been able to find some some signal and actually get in and actually be able to be on the show at least a little bit. Sorry,
yes, sir. This is paid for.
Oh, okay.
You can add on international plans for X days.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's pretty decent then. Well, how is everything over there in Canada, Dawn?
It's been very nice. Perfect weather. We did a Ferris wheel yesterday with a glass floor.
Mm-hmm.
And then today we are going to the botanical garden / bug house to go look at buggies. And then possibly the planetarium afterwards. I have a fantastic travel companion / host here showing me all of his favorite things in Montreal.
I was about to say, like, you best be doing at least some sort of. You best be finding and going to see a bunch of things that are very, very quintessential to the Canada experience.
We're going to hockey tonight.
Oh, there, perfect.
We've also had more steak than necessary, and we're getting more tonight. So yesterday was
that was a very American thing, though.
Canada is very known for its beef.
Oh, okay.
So last night we got a 34-ounce porterhouse to split, and then today we're getting Wagyu, and then Thursday we just got some normal steaks.
See, I wasn't gonna say like known for their beef, as it were. I was gonna say something related to Canada being known for their bears, because I had it down as Dawn is in Canada fighting bears for salmon.
No, she's clubbing baby seals.
Oh,
yes.
Right, okay. Fair enough.
Yesterday it could have been seal fur.
See, the only time when I kind of imagine like brown bears is while they're catching salmon, as the salmon are like basically trying to get upriver. Not seals. Seals, I generally tend to sort of, things attacking seals. I tend to sort of go with the whole orca, killer whale thing.
Yeah. Well, in Canada, like the baby seals for their fur, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's a whole fur trade thing, and yeah. For some reason, you club them because you get more fur from them than shooting them. I don't know. I don't get it.
I would not recommend either.
They're like cute little baby seal. I love the video too, like the seal that gets on the boat and there's like 16 orcas or something around the boat. That's an exaggeration, right? And they do the voiceover with the seal, like the seal's not getting off the boat.
It's like, I ain't getting off this at all. No way. Take me to your leader.
Yep. Shout out to Kazlan. Is it Kazlan? that how to say that? You know, with the lupini beans in Portugal. I'm a fan. I am a fan. Little beer, little lupini beans. Life is good, baby.
Oh, thank you very much for the sub, Seema.
Yeah, thanks.
Long time supporter of the show and the channel. 35 months. Thank you very much, mate. Yeah, so we're gonna have a bit of a shorter show this time around. Mainly because there's not exactly that many of us here. We were going to suspend the Dawn Raya rule, which, if you were not sure as to what the Dawn Raya rule was, it was essentially to kind of mess with Dawn and her desire to want to talk about Eve from the outset. We would normally basically prevent the conversation from going to Eve for 20 minutes.
We did 10 minutes. We did a half Dawn rule.
Yeah,
I could talk more about it.
Well, it's kind of like a half Dawn Raya rule, but like, to be fair, we also had a bit of an ad break, like the pre-roll ad break that always tends to occur.
There's nothing in the rules saying that the ad break does not count towards the Dawn Raya rule. Thank you.
I guess that is the case.
Rule lord here.
I guess that is the case, but yeah, Dirk's basically not here because he is at Eve London, so he's at Eve London fighting nerds. Soth isn't here because he is at a LAN event, so he's playing CS2 at the moment, fighting terrorists probably. So he's fighting terrorists. Dirk's fighting other Eve nerds at this point in time. Bard Ghost has apparently been roped into going to a carnival today. So depending on what kind of carnival that is, because I'm not entirely certain, I have in mind one of those weird, creepy kind of carnivals. So he's probably potentially being kidnapped right now. So he's probably fighting off his captors. And then, yeah, I had in my notes like, and Dawn's fighting bears for salmon. Essentially, I was trying to figure out like why people weren't here and how they could be fighting something or somebody in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, okay. I'm fighting Canadian geese instead.
Oh yeah, no, that is legit. Canadian geese are fuckers.
Cobra chicken.
Have you ever experienced Canadian geese, Erik?
Yes. As a matter of fact, we have many here. They come down from Canada, and they decide. Yeah, no, they come down in the winter, and they decide they're not going to go home.
Well, that's annoying.
I mean, because apparently, you know, the upper Atlantic of the United States is kind of like the Caribbean to them compared to Canada. Okay, so they're like, we're not going back.
You mean they're sitting around smoking marijuana all the time?
No, that's not
drinking rum.
It's warm. It's warmer, right? This feels warm to them. Right?
Okay.
I just compared to Canada. but you know, they and by the way, they're a protected bird, so you can't kill them.
Oh,
except for the time they got so many of them in a park around here that they decided to round them all up and euthanize them because they just never went home and they were just overpopulating. And then, of course, you know, they donated them to like a food kitchen for you know, everybody got goose.
Seema's just like on it today. I'll show you what I mean. Hang on.
Because I'm about to leave in a couple minutes. Tell me, I've heard in Eve that everything's horrible and everything's falling apart, and then CCP said, "Oopsies, here's a bonus. Shut the fuck up."
Potentially,
like
yeah.
20% off Plex, or what?
I don't know. So basically,
well, there was the 7 days of free Omega time.
Yeah, but that was like going to happen either way.
Oh.
No, they had so they had a patch to change the ratting sites so they don't spawn instantly in the same spot to havens that they warp in to slow down Stormbringers. And they also changed faction dread spawns to instantly point instead of like the 10-second kind of delay they always had. Because most people, like, so like if a dread spawned and you were in a little Ishtar, you'd be like, oh shit, and you could get away.
Yeah.
Now you can't.
Even if you're like in battleships, like a lot of the like smart bombing battleships, like the non, you know, not the Stormbringer kind of stuff, but like if you're just running traditional, if you're running like traditional smart bombing battleships, like, you know, even a dread coming in that form, that would be like a hair-raising moment as well. So that is just so the thing I really hate about that is the fact that CCPs, I mean, unless you're exaggerating the instant point, right? I'm wondering, I mean, were you exaggerating there, Dawn, or do you literally mean it is a literal instant point?
Instant, yeah, it's instant.
Insta lock, instant point, right?
Yeah, and then they kill you.
See,
so,
to me that's stupid. Like, it's ludicrous in the sense that CCP coding in something that literally we can't do as capsuleers in the game, and for some reason the regular NPCs in the game can. Like, yeah, okay, there might be faction dreads, but it's not like they are, you know, drifters or like, you know, things, or using something, you know, quite clearly using technology that is, you know, something that we can't actually get in the game. Like, they're in a faction, you know, dreadnought, right? Using potentially same modules as we would be able to use, yet they can point instantly and, you know, unlock instantly. I find that abhorrent in the game.
And then the other part is they changed drone aggro on some of the sites, so drones are being mutilated constantly. I guess in the drone regions especially, you couldn't run regular drone sites very easily. And then yesterday, I think, CCP put out a patch note being like, oopsies, that wasn't supposed to happen. So we don't know why it's doing that. So we're just going to give you 30% bonus to bounties on those sites. Good luck. And that's what they did.
Yeah. I feel there's some weirdness going in there on there. Like, it's fucking strange. But I wanted to rant about something real quick before we move on to like properly diving into the Eve news, right? And I wanted to say specifically to people out there who kind of get irked by us in some way, shape, or form, or have some issue with like the show in any particular way, shape, or form. Like, you know, if you have a problem with like any of us, any of the content, any of the show, if there's anything that like, you know, winds you up about it, please let us know in the comments on YouTube, like on like when it goes to YouTube. Yeah, you know, when the show hits YouTube, like, and something you have some kind of complaint, some kind of issue with the show whatsoever, like if there's something bubbling away in you and you kind of like you're angry and or frustrated about like something in the show in some way, shape, or form, please just like let that anger, let that like frustration flow into the keyboard, right? Just flow into the keyboard and, you know, post that into the comments on YouTube. Let us know, right? Because in all honesty, right? Truthfully, I'm not making this shit up, right? And I'm fairly certain it's not just me who kind of feels this way. I'm fairly certain that everybody on the show would feel this way. Is I would much prefer if you're frustrated about something to get it out into comments on the show rather than bottle it up and then have that turn into some kind of fury, frustration that comes out as violence to anybody, right? I would much rather see a comment with somebody being toxic or hateful or spiteful or kind of frustrated about the show then think, oh man, maybe somebody got, you know, maybe somebody's frustrations, you know, boiled over it, and they, you know, they attacked somebody, or they, you know, somebody was abused in some way, shape, or form. We don't want that. I want to see comments and be like, oh, we saved somebody from being hurt, from having violence sort of bestowed upon them, right? So yeah.
Yeah, and make sure to mention how much you wish the show talked about what you wanted to talk about.
Exactly, because we don't know unless you tell us.
Yeah, you need to tell us through Twitch chat.
So that was my little thing that I feel like I needed to get out just before the show. You know, before we really rolled in.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
I have a question. I'm trying to figure out, was it actually sarcasm?
No, I mean it genuinely.
Were you serious?
I mean it genuinely.
Because I'm like,
I would like to.
I literally, there are no fucks given from me.
I mean, I guess in that kind of sense, yeah. But like, I'm not being sarcastic here. Like, genuinely, I'm not being sarcastic here. If I see a negative comment, I would like to feel, you know, I'd like to see a negative comment and know that we've saved somebody from being abused in some way, shape, or form physically. Because somebody got that frustration out in comments for our show, rather than bottle it up and, you know, have it boil over later on.
All right, I gotta go look at Buggy. You guys have fun. I'll try to pop in a little bit.
All right, take care.
Bye.
See you soon. But yes, another little thing, another little thing. You're right.
You're making no friends in chat, Mac.
Oh, excellent.
None.
Fantastic. I'm glad. Fuck you lot too.
We love y'all. We're just fucking with you.
Anyway,
yeah.
You guys may have realized from the show title, if you saw the full show title, that we actually have, for once in like, I think it's like 6 years? 8 years? Something like that. 8 years. I think 8 years. Okay. We've got merch.
Oh, holy crap. We do.
We do have merch. Crazy. Crazy that is a thing. That we actually have merch this time. It's a weird scenario to be in. I will show you guys the merch. It's not something like super ridiculous. Well, you know, starting off small, as we do. But here it is. And it is a pack of 6 stickers that you can go and get, and you can stick a Push to Talk sticker, our logo, onto wherever you want. They're apparently really quite strong stickers.
Stickers.
This is a kind of a little comment from King Wolf, who ended up getting 6 of them. Basically, they're 6 individually cut stickers, and apparently they're vinyl stickers as well. And they turned out they're apparently really bloody strong. So
why didn't we all get like a complimentary? Why didn't we get, like, it's our show, we should get complimentary stickers?
I mean, I've already got some coming to me, but they weren't right. They weren't here like for today, unfortunately, which sucks. But Wolf got some to sort of see what they're like, see their quality, and you know he's raving about them. So that's all right. If you want some, they are on they are on the Imperium News kind of merch store, new merch store, as it were. But there's like 6 stickers. They're all they're fucking high quality and all that kind of jazz. So I'm just going to chuck them into chat now. In actual fact,
high quality. Yep. By the way, on that logo, Mac was one of the key consultants on whether we liked it or not, like 800 years ago. True story.
I love it. I think it's fucking awesome. Our logo.
I do. I like it too.
Badass.
We do have a cool logo. Are they scratching sniff? God damn it! We should have made him. He's smart. We should have made him. Scratch and sniff. But what would they smell like?
I don't know.
Bass.
I mean, I'd imagine like It would either be like bacon, or it would be like cider, or something that we always generally have a tend to sort of like argue with or argue about in some way, shape, or form when it comes to sort of like the food side of things. Oh god,
old nerd.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some good shit, man.
I don't know what you want to scratch and that.
What was it? So really old Saturday Night Live's skit with Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. And he always said his old shoes smelled like Fritos.
The hell?
You got to watch some old Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood.
How about this? If we do kind of are able to sort of put a scratch and snip thing on them, we'll go 50% with you on your idea, Slowpoke. We'll go with Old Spice rather than Old Nerd. So we'll go 50% on your suggestion.
Dude, oh my god. You can get no, really? Yeah. No. I was too excited too fast, sorry.
It's all right.
I'm still looking.
You're still hunting for inspiration.
There, dude, you can get. Well, they have retro. You get scratch and sniff ones like the retro. I want custom ones.
Yeah.
Right? Print a scent. Printascent.com. Okay, wait, I don't want patchouli. Okay.
Okay.
All right. What else we got here? They have stock fragrances. All right. Food and fruit.
I don't think it's something that we can add to the stickers as such. We'll have to have a chat with the actual fourth wall guys.
Dude, we could get garlic scented. That would be big with the vampires. With the vampires.
I mean, yeah, like be a case of these stickers have extra utility in the case of potential vampires. Like,
we might have to put an actual survey out to our viewership at one point. All right, I'm going to give you a list of about 8 of them or so. Okay, all right, that we're going to put in this survey. Okay, ready?
Dear
ready?
God.
You ready?
Yeah.
Burnt rubber, compost, durian, manure. The one that's going to win. This is the one that's going to win. Marijuana,
of course.
Mildew, mothball, or natural gas. Okay, those are actual scents you can pick with Printascent at printascent.com.
What the fuck?
With a dash between the words.
I mean,
yeah.
Some of them, well, most of them, to be completely honest, I'm there going, why? Why would you want that?
That's not bad. Scent of first day of FanFest. Starstream. That's the good day.
That's the only good day. I think that's the only good day.
Then you have Shark Day, and then you have the last day where I promise at FanFest every day Erik will be, fresh and clean. Just letting everybody know.
Good shit.
I may not be shaved, but
But
I don't like to shave.
You'll be well.
But I don't like to not shave.
Hmm.
All right. So what are we talking about here?
Yeah. We're probably going to go like 15 minutes over the from the top of the hour because we had the intro and we had the initial ad break, right? So we'll add some to that.
I can do whatever. I'm not locked in on time, so we're fine. Whatever.
But yeah, like, I mean, we haven't. So the thing is, like, last week's show, unfortunately, didn't happen as such, to various situations. So we've got like 2 weeks of basically catching up on what the fuck has happened in Eve. I think probably the main thing that we could have potentially talked about last week was potentially the MER, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that the Goon move the whole sort of fucking. I mean, calling it a move up is not really. I don't think it does justice to what the fuck happened. It's like moving home, right? Goon's moving their home from Delve to, is it Tenerifis that you guys are now? I think it's Tenerifis.
Wherever.
I mean, have you moved yet, Eric?
I mean, I gave my shit to, on.
Oh, to move. Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, like moving all that kind of way, it was bound to show up on the October MER, and indeed it did. Let me just chuck us to the right screen and advance this a little bit. Yeah, so the MER did kind of show a little bit. I think it's most obvious and most apparent on the where is it? Net imports and exports by region. Quirius had 808.29 trillion export.
Is that all?
Obviously imports as well, but as well as exports. But like, yeah, 808 trillion. But the thing is, and I think it's one of the things that people should realize is the imports and exports on the MER. They do not take into account the value of ships. So the 808 trillion going through Quirius does not take into account the value of all the ships, including all of the super cap fleets and all that kind of all of that. It takes into account stuff in cargo and that kind of stuff, and some of the module kind of values, I think, potentially. It also doesn't take into account the actual value of abyssal mods as well, right? So, those abyssal mods are going to be ludicrous in price, and taken through Quirius, they basically amount to like almost nothing in comparison in value that's actually shown on the MER. So I can say with pretty much absolute certainty that you guys probably easily eclipsed a quadrillion ISK, which is crazy because you talk about trillions of ISK in EVE as being a ludicrous amount of money. Typically when anybody's talking about amounts of money in EVE, like the top value that you generally tend to hear is in the trillions, right? You don't tend to hear the quadrillion. But I would put a bet on the fact that there was more than a quadrillion of value exported from Delve to Tenerifis, or at least from Delve and to wherever Goons decided to actually stage from now. Because I haven't been keeping up as to exactly where you guys decided to land. Oh, yeah. Fucking crazy. Oh, this thing's...
we were just rated, dude.
Oh, shit. Were we? Fuck.
I think.
We were. Holy crap. Hazza. Thank you, dude.
Yeah, did not know. I'm like, whoa, because I was trying to follow something else, and I'm like, ooh, come back, and like, what's going on?
Thank you very much, Hazza, for the raid. But yeah, MER was kind of really the largest sort of thing that was happening on that week that we were away as such, and then the week after that, obviously, was the quote unquote expansion, right? Yeah. Would you call it an expansion? Because I kind of feel like I feel like it's not really an expansion.
No.
Like it's it's the start of a potentially a new chapter in the story of New Eden, right? With the whole Deathless and Drifters and stuff. My concern is with the Drifters, the coming of the Drifters again is is that hopefully we don't get Blackout 2 coming along, because that would fucking suck.
Like we did before.
Yeah, like you guys did before. And to be fair, like the reason why I'm not much of a fan of Blackout before was because it was just a straight nerf, and it wasn't something that added something. It wasn't something that like players could do something about. It was just, this is the new norm, go fuck yourself. And then essentially you know, you had Drifters basically appearing out of fucking nowhere, you know, 24 hours a day, non-stop, hitting, you know, hitting structures. And you had no idea as to whether those structures were going to die or not, because you had no idea as to like how many like NPCs were going to randomly appear and take out a structure or not. And it literally came in a situation where players were providing a shitload of content in the game. You know, we had Imperium were up north fighting a block war as such, to some degree, against an enemy who was basically ceding a lot of territory and leaving a lot of structures to basically go to waste. That's fair enough. But at some point, that territory gets ceded to the point where they actually find value in something and actually decide to fight. We never got to that particular point, Erik, did we? Like, we had to basically fall back because Drifters were fucking everything up, right? And we had no idea, we had no way of knowing whether Drifters were going to come back and hit the armor timers and the hull timers or anything like that. Like, we literally had no way of knowing. You know, obviously hindsight 2020, we now know that they weren't actually going and hitting the additional timers that they set, but you can't take that, you can't make that assumption and take that chance.
Right, because you don't know. And I mean, you know, that's how we ended up with Dirk rants on Push Attack. So, you know.
Yeah. There were a lot of people who got super stressed out of that because they had to, because it was a case of, you know, your shit wasn't really, you know, your shit was basically being hit 24/7.
Right. Really, we actually, I mean, I was in that, right? I was one of the coordinators. We call it that. I don't know, but we were just receiving the reports and sending people out to take care of them, right?
Yeah.
It was so it was not fun gameplay. Let's put it that way. It wasn't fun gameplay.
Yeah.
It was gameplay that we had to do.
So we had to like basically move all the way from fucking, you know, the sort of pure blind fade decline kind of area, go all the way fucking back to Delve because of this random scenario situation that CCP decided to drop on us. And a lot of people can kind of can, you know, would want to say that, oh, but it was happening to everybody, right? Well, the fact that Imperium have been able to actually put together a lot of data about all of this and be able to say forthright about the blackout that Delve, Quirius, and Period Basis were hit the most out of every single area of nullsec, and have the data to back it up as well, just kind of shows that it almost felt like it was something that was kind of, I mean, I guess it's a speculation to some degree because we don't know this for certain. We don't know this in particular for certain, but it definitely felt like it was specifically to fuck with us.
Oh yeah, it felt that way. Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was. I have a question on the quote air quote expansion, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
what are your like thoughts on the damage over time stuff that they've got out there?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So this is coming with this came with the quote unquote expansion, as you say. So that's the new mechanics of the breacher pods, right? The new weapon system. I don't mind it when you understand that it's not a case of like when it has an either or situation. So it's basically like it does either a certain amount of damage or a percentage of a ship's hull. And the important bit to remember on that is whichever is less. So it's not whichever is more; it's whichever's less, from what I recall. But we can go into this.
It's kind of a new thing, right?
Yeah,
Kind of interesting.
I do like it. I do like the idea of it, and I think it's been missing from Eve. It's in that kind of damage over time effects have been in other MMOs for quite a long time as well. So it's good to sort of actually see it in Eve Online now. So which is good. I'm just gonna go find the actual expansion notes about this in particular.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's, yeah, I mean, really, the only real expansion in it is that it is really the new, the new dens, right? I mean, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Other than that, we've got some ship tweaking, some new ships, and then we got the breacher pods, skill books probably go along with them, and
yeah. So if we want to do a super quick rundown of what the actual the expansion was, as such. So in the Revenant patch, Revenant, like I refer to it as a Revenant patch. I think a lot of people refer to it as Revenant patch, not an expansion.
yeah.
But essentially, we get two new ships, right? It's the Tholos destroyer and the Cenotaph battlecruiser, right? And those are the first. I think they're T1s. I'm fairly certain that they're obviously they're sort of like faction ships, right?
Does the Tholos ship though look like something like the Reavers would fly? I mean, that's just kind of.
I thought it looked like one of the T3 destroyers. To be fair, in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get where you're coming from with the Reaver stuff, like the Serenity / Firefly Reaver stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Tholos destroyer, the Cenotaph battlecruiser, we get a new weapon system which we talked about, which is the breacher pods, the new structure which you mentioned, which is the Mercenary Den. And then there's obviously the storyline lore development that's relating to the Drifters and the Deathless, and potentially the Triglavians and Edencom. We might have something about that, a little bit more in depth about that next week, potentially. Fingers crossed. We'll tease that, on next Saturday, as to whether that's actually happening. But I think hopefully we might actually have something kind of cool about that. The other thing that came with the patch was expanded corp project features. So basically, like different kind of different variables that you can add into it and stuff like that. We get readers. We get the second ship pattern for the Skinner tool. So there's that. Rib people who put a whole bunch of plex into ship skins that only have one pattern in. Never mind. We get the much memed upon redesigned ship info windows. I don't know whether you saw some of those, Eric. They were pretty good.
No, I didn't see some of the memes. I'll have to look for them.
They were pretty good. And then we had some balance changes to various ships, like the Marauders got a bunch of changes. And then the ability to complete a air dailies with Evermarks. And we got promised a Vanguard update, which is coming in the 20th of November. And that's basically the expansion, right? That was the expansion, basically, essentially. Yeah, but obviously 2 new ships. Yeah, new mechanic. We're gonna jump into the mechanics, the how the mechanic and what the mechanics are all about and all that kind of stuff. So that's the one that you were talking about that looked a bit like what was it? Reavers?
Yeah, a little Reaver.
Little bit Reaver-esque. If you know,
yeah,
if you've watched Serenity the film or Firefly the series, you'll kind of know what we're talking about there. That is like a cult classic, sci-fi classic, just absolute classic. But yeah, bonuses. I think the first non-capital ship that has web resistance bonuses. It can also, it's not a T2 ship in any way, shape, or form, but it can fit covert ops cloaking devices. Complete 0 CPU requirement for cloaking devices. It does have so this is one of the things. It does have a cloak reactivation delay of 15 seconds. It also doesn't have a it doesn't have what bombers have when it comes to targeting delay reduction. So if you're flying one of these and you expect to basically decloak and insta-lock something, that ain't gonna happen. You've got a decloaking lock delay that occurs, so you're gonna have to wait that timer out before you can lock. And to be fair, considering what this can kind of do, I can understand that doesn't have that you can't insta-lock straight away. That would be a bit too much. And for whatever reason, immune to cargo scanners. I don't quite know why they put that there, but they put that there for whatever reason. And then there's the Cenotaph, which is kind of like a it sort of looks like one of the Minmatar T3 or the Minmatar attack battle cruiser, but on its side and then sort of like bent, as it were. Yeah, so same sort of thing. Bonus to stasis web of fire resistance. Can't fucking speak English. But you guys all knew that anyway. Same sort of thing. Can fit the covert ops cloaking device. Reactivation delay, but still has a lock delay. But yeah, and so the breacher pods. This is how it works, right? They don't consume a launcher or turret hardpoint, so you still have those. So you can still put your variety of different launchers or turrets on the ship. I believe the ship actually has split weapons as well, so it doesn't have. So if you have like say 6 high slots to fill, it only has like 3. It would only have say like 3 launcher hardpoints and 3 turret hardpoints, so you can't fit a full rack of one thing or another. Which also kind of reduces the sort of potency in some way, shape, or form of these ships, irrespective of the breacher pods, right? And then we've got so that's the damage over. So it basically fires the Scarab breacher pods. They are similar to missiles. They don't affect a target unless actually reached and hit, and they can be killed with smart bombs before they arrive. The velocity of those things are just slow enough to potentially be like hit by a smart bomb, and the hit points on those breacher pods are low enough that they will be killed by even a medium smart bomb, in actual fact. So you don't have to be. It doesn't have to always be large smart bombs that can kill them, but they can potentially be killed by small, by medium smart bombs, but not really by smalls or micros. But then again, you know, you're going to have issues with the smalls and micros anyway because of the size, the area effect of those smart bombs, and the speed at which those breacher pods are like basically coming at you. It does not use signature radius or tracking like other weapon systems in the game. It also, as far as I know, it doesn't have any weapon upgrades. It's not affected by any particular weapon upgrades. Chances are we might find that CCP kind of comes out with a weapon upgrade that increases its damage or potency in some way. I don't know. They're pretty close range systems as well. Like I think the maximum with the medium is like 12 kilometers at most. The one that you can fit onto the destroyer is like 4, maybe 6 kilometers range at most. So you have to be like really fucking close to use these to use these and to hit. But then again, you're also in a ship that has a covert ops cloaking device. So you would imagine that is the way that you're going to be getting close to any ships that you're going to be taking on, is to be basically cloaked and then uncloak and, you know, start wrecking phase, essentially.
Okay.
But yeah, as said, right, they apply damage every second based on the target's total hit points or a flat damage cap number, whichever one of these two is lower. And I think the thing is, when we first heard this, I think a lot of people didn't see this, or it wasn't really communicated that it was, you know, it was this or this, whichever is lower. People just saw like 1% and like think, you know, basically saw 1% and it like tracks for 50 damage or something like that, and thought like, holy crap, this thing is going to be wrecking face, like something serious. You know. So, as an example, a ship with incredibly high hit points like a Titan will always take the flat damage cap, which is the, you know, lower of those two numbers, right? But a ship with low hit points like a Corvette will always take the percentage hit points damage instead. That's how it works. Damage lasts between 50 and 75 seconds. And that's the thing, like a lot of people were freaking out by the fact that, like, you know, oh, it could hit a Titan and take 75% of its HP away. Like, no, that's not how it works. And it will not clear until player leaves the solar system or docks up. And that's down to a session change. So, you know, if you're playing the game and every so often when you undock or whatever, you may see, or go through a gate, that kind of thing, you may see a little thing. It's not the large timer. It's not the large white, like really, really obvious white timer. There's like a small timer that happens on the top left of the screen. That kind of goes fairly fast. That's the session change timer. And that's basically the thing that's, I think CCP can't really code the damage over time stuff to go through, or to basically persist through. So that is the thing that will clear it. So if you dock up or if you leave solar system, basically if you force the client to go through a session change, or force the client to communicate with the server to say that it's going through a session change, then you can basically clear that damage over time. It also completely ignores resistances, which is the big selling point of it, obviously, right? And I think the thing is, one of the other things that is kind of slightly crazy, is, which a little concerning to some degree, is because it ignores resistances, assault damage controls and emergency damage controls do fuck all to mitigate it in any way, shape, or form. It also can apply damage to rork walls and ships under a panic module. So if you've got a panic module going and you get hit by one of these breacher pods, you are still going to take damage, which may be really confusing to some people who, you know, who suddenly panic their rork wall and then realize, hang on, why the fuck am I taking damage? Like, so yeah, can only be affected by damage over time once. Yeah. And it works, the damage over time is based on whichever whichever damage over time is higher or is bonus the most as such. The same as how command bursts work essentially. But yeah, that's the new mechanic as such. And the breacher pods 4 kilometers or 6 with max skills, or 8 kilometers with 12 as the max skills. And then damage per second is for the medium pods is 1,000 with max skills or 200 with max skills for the small one. So yeah, it's an interesting new kind of thing. Not as ludicrously insane or as scary as some people and as we as well kind of thought it might then end up being. So thank fuck for that. But it still has, I think it still has an interesting place in the game. And people have already been killing and dying in them.
Killing, dying.
Yep. There's already been deaths. The first kill with it was by McCullough. I'm gonna butcher these names, by the way. McCullough Catello, killing an echelon. Literally, and this was what 1439 on the day of the patch. So he already had a Cenotaph, like possibly 2 hours into the patch, which is just nuts. And same sort of thing, maybe 1.5 hours after the patch, 2 hours after the patch potentially, for the Tholos, right? Loss wise, the first loss of a Tholos was by a guy called Serpent Power. And the first loss, and I don't know why, I really don't know why Fraternity actually did this, but the first loss of a Cenotaph was Fraternity. And who did Fraternity lose the first Cenotaph to? Well, Fraternity, of course. For some reason, I don't quite know why. And it was all civilian fit, so I guess it was a bit of a meme or something like that to them. They kind of want, maybe they just wanted to flex how they have so much fucking money or something. I don't know. Who knows? But they didn't get the first kill. But they lost the first Cenotaph. So, congrats, I guess. I don't know. And this was on the 15th. So it wasn't a case of like, oh look, we've got the first Cenotaph super early. This was on the 15th. So this was like 3 days after the patch, right? And the first kill with the Cenotaph was literally on patch day, 2.5 hours after the patch. So it's like, why are you doing this? I guess just for the loss now. It confuses me, Eric, as to why people do this sort of thing. It's fucking strange to me.
Many things that people do confuse me.
Yeah, that is very true.
I'm trying to keep up with chat too.
Oh right, yeah. I've been rambling on, so I'm sorry about that.
There's no rambling. You're fine.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to you. Very, very important.
I guess, yeah, Meppa, you are kind of right, like that. 1,000 DPS. When you're bypassing resistances is a fair chunk. Is a fair.
Yeah.
Chunk. Especially when you can't clear it and you can't really sort of heal too much past it. But we'll see. I don't think it's too insane. I think it's fairly it's kind of crazy, but it's not too insane.
So So it's like dating. You want the girlfriend who's a little bit crazy, but not too crazy. Right? A little bit nuts, not too nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. I understand. I just want to, make sure I understand.
Yep. And of course, obviously, with this, you know, these are all kind of like a thing that's kind of all married together with this new structure, right? The Mercenary Dens. The idea of the Mercenary Dens is essentially you can place them, hostile people can place them down, essentially, but on your by your structure, fucking whatever it is, essentially. It creates it apparently generates infomorphs, which are essentially clones, right? That's CCP's terminology for clones. It creates clones that you can come and pick up, and then you can take those clones and go to Zarzak and then hand them into I don't think they're contracts, but like they're them sort of mission givers kind of thing like that, and essentially you get you end up getting rewarded to be able to you know, get these new ships essentially. So that's the kind of that's the flow, as it were.
You know, I wasn't paying attention to the timer. Did we just enter ad break or just exit ad break?
We might just be entering it.
I thought we were entering it, but then I don't see the ad break countdown time.
Well, either way, if we're entering ad break, then congratulations. Like any of you out there who are actually subscribed, because this is bonus content for you. But the what is it? The dens, right? The new dens are essentially like they create new sort of anomalies as such that you can go and do as well. And if you do those anomalies, then it doesn't affect the if you complete those anomalies, you can kind of, it doesn't affect the amount of population that that is basically harvested from that planet as such. But if you don't, then it potentially does. So there's there's a way of negating negative effects if you're in that area, or if you live in that area, if you frequent that area often. But there is, from an aggressor's sort of standpoint, that if you can disrupt people doing those sorts of things, and you've put that den down yourself, you can basically start you can start intercepting and basically screwing around with people's the population being used to basically power and keep certain things on, right? So there's both a positive and a negative side to having dens in your space. So you make of that what you will. I know groups that are basically saying it's fine if you want to put, like, if you as a member of that or sort of a owner and liver of that space puts down dens. But then I imagine there's also people out there and groups out there who are like, any den that you see is kill on sight. So it's kind of up to this, you know, it's up to whoever, who, you know, whether you like them or whether you don't. We are on break here for one more minute. But yeah.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, it finally came up. Like, you're on ad break.
And I know
this is very special content.
And yeah, and because this is very special content, I will say that, like, you know, in it are completely fine with our own members actually putting down dens. So it's just more content for us, essentially. And it also means that we get the ability to buy in bulk at some point the Cenotaphs and the other one, whatever the fuck it's called. It's a new ship. I haven't quite got the names down. The Cenotaph and the Tholos. That's the one. But yes. Other than that, storyline lore stuff coming next week, potentially, hopefully, fingers crossed. If Bard can kind of make the show on next Saturday, then, you know, potentially 2 thumbs up in terms of you know, something interesting lore wise to dive into. But yeah. Other than that, the funny kind of interesting, funny sort of things about the patch notes, right? Because obviously we've had the patch notes. We had the expansion on Tuesday, and then we had Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with patches to that expansion. And strangely enough, Eric, I imagine you probably wouldn't have had to have as many patches after the expansion if you had an actual test server for people to test stuff on. Right?
What?
I know, right? It's crazy. It's a crazy idea. Mental idea.
I don't understand what you're talking.
Well, let's have a look. Have a quick look at the patch notes, shall we? So for the 12th, Revenant being out, like that's the expansion, right? That is the expansion day on the 12th, right? The 13th.
Yeah.
That's the 13th. This is patch notes for the 13th. That's fucking mad.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Increasing the signature radius of the Mercenary Dens to something that's larger than just like a small ship. So the actual capital size stuff and fighters can actually hit it. Because, you know, why would you make a Mercenary Den with a sig radius of 500 meters, for fuck's sake? Like, that's a balancing thing that would have been readily apparent to anybody who actually played it. Like, you know, if they had it on a test server, right?
Maybe
the added quotes and attributions.
Maybe.
That's just stuff they didn't get to that they should have got to, because that was actually just a thing in the actual that was I mean, that's not something that requires gameplay to figure out whether everything's working out correctly. That's just finishing up on homework, essentially, which is that added quotes, attributions, and designers for the remaining ships.
Just a little proofreading.
That's just proof. Well, no, that's not edited out, like, you know.
No, I mean, proofreading.
You get what I mean.
Making sure that you don't do stupid shit like in your release is like proofreading your document, right?
Yeah. So supercarrier close range missiles now apply full damage to Mercenary Den. The Cenotaph now correctly warps at the speed that it should warp, which I might add is something that appeared on a if I can fucking find it. Where are you? There you go. Which appeared on a Reddit thread. Why does the new battle cruiser warp at 2.78 meters a second? That's the old battlecruiser warp speed. A classic example of, if this was on a test server, people would have been able to test it, and you wouldn't have had to actually fucking patch that on an additional patch, and also had somebody on Reddit say, why is such an easy thing to not fuck up been fucked up? Which I find fucking hilarious. So the shield boost bonus per level of Caldari battlecruisers now correctly apply. Projectiles and missiles optimal and fall off roll bonus is now being correctly applied. So just things that would have been obvious if the general community had, you know, a decent amount of time on a test server to test things that are changing in the patch. But because CCP doesn't do doesn't do testing aside from the very few instances of actually doing a mass test, you know, you're gonna get these sorts of things all the fucking time.
So Symbiotes is right. This shall be caught by an automated QA tooling. Pretty standard stuff these days, right?
Yeah, and then the next day, right? Increases the site timeout for observatory flashpoints in Pockman, right? Like, I mean, these aren't specifically like bugs as such, but like certain things that, you know, could have been handled a little bit better if they were on a test server. But sort of changes to the observatory flashpoint is actually, I think, is pretty cool because, you know, we're getting changes to Pogfin that's actually potentially affecting the ISK out the amount of ISK printing that is being done, which is great.
ISK printing.
Yep.
It's like we're a South American country printing dollars.
So this is also a great one, Eric, and you'll love this one. User interface, right? Elements of heat sinks, gyrostablers, entropic radiation sinks, magnetic field stabilizers, and biochemical material icons have been enlarged and repositioned for better readability. Because this was showcased in other kind of in other comments and stuff like that on Reddit as well. And this is kind of this is where you were at. So essentially, they had people designing icons in a really kind of really inexperienced kind of way. Essentially, they were making all of these icons smaller and harder to actually discern. And if you're a graphics designer and you've designed anything that like has to be fairly small, the idea of designing that is maximizing the space usage that you have and maximizing the readability and legibility and like general sort of, you know, the scale of things and being able to actually see what the fuck it actually is. Because if you make them small and you're not being efficient with the space, it becomes super difficult to figure out what the fuck it is. And this is what was happening. Like, you know, you had these changes that were making the icons smaller and also adding a whole bunch of colors to it that were confusing the fuck out of people as well. Like, it wasn't just the colors and it wasn't just the size, but it was the combination of both of them that were making people like get really agitated by it. And so thankfully they've changed that as well. But that also came from, you know, the fact that there were people on Reddit who were you know, complaining about the fact that like this is bullshit. Like this is like amateur hour when it comes to sort of you know, designing icons.
So the question becomes, do you want to open your, I mean, so, you know, developers get a little irritated when people complain, right?
But Eric, another thing that could have been seen and solved before it actually hit live due to it being on a test server, but it didn't happen. So
I know. Well, that's the whole thing, right? You know, developers hate when you bitch and moan about what they did because they worked so hard on it and did all this stuff, right? Then I'm sitting there going, okay, but if you had a test server, people wouldn't bitch and moan so much and act like you're amateurs.
Yeah, exactly. And then the patch after that, you know, on the 15th, you know, they changed mission NPCs, missions and mission NPCs in nullsec anomalies, right? So with the renovation update to nullsec anomalies and bug fixes for the NPC dreadnoughts released in Revenant, so this is an interesting one. We did not intend to significantly impact nullsec income with changes to the NPCs warping in instead of spawning in place. And this is an interesting one because I think people kind of go, oh, they didn't change the AI. Like I've heard people say they didn't change the AI of the NPCs to cause them to attack drones more frequently, but they have now been attacking them. People have seen a marked kind of thing of like their drones being attacked in anons, right? To the point where it's being memed on Reddit as well, right? But specifically, CCP has said they have not made any intentional changes to the AI. To me, that reads as we made changes, but they weren't intentional changes to cause them to attack drones more frequently, which means that I think that they did fuck with the AI and the coding for the AI. It's just they didn't realize quite that was that the effect of those changes were going to cause them to attack drones more frequently. So a lot of people kind of read that and think that, oh, they didn't change the NPC sort of coding. No, I'm fairly certain they fucking did, because they specifically said intentional changes. They could have said any changes. You know, they could have said, we also have not made any changes to the AI. But they didn't. They said any intentional changes. Very good, very good thing to sort of make sure.
I don't always test my code, but when I do.
Do you use a test server by any chance?
No, I don't know what that is. I mean, firing up a test VM is so hard.
I know, right? Has there been any instance, Erik, recently of changes being made to something and they're just pushing it to live without thinking about, like, maybe testing it in a safe, confined area first?
I think all instances of that. No, it just completely escapes me. That never happened.
No, there wasn't any incidents where like half of the internet basically died because of somebody deciding to push a particular change.
No, I don't think so. No, not at all. Nope.
So,
nope.
This is where we're at. This is where we're at. This is where we're at with CCP.
Well, we just want to say this is Push to Talk, episode 8,462, brought to you by the letter C. That's all I'm gonna say.
The letter C for change.
The letter C. No. For in reference to your, conversation earlier.
Oh, okay.
Doing things. Yeah. The letter C.
Fair enough. So yeah,
I think it's totally intentional. They hate null sec.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Definitely intentional.
Mappa.
And just despite all of this, right? I think the thing is, right, because CCP is saving money on not having a test server up constantly, right? They have money to do other things. Money to do other things. For example, things like doing sponsored streams. So apparently, CCP are sponsoring streamers now for doing shows. And to be fair, like it's not like it's something that should never be done or that should be chastised or anything like that. Like there's a lot of developers out there who do a lot of sponsoring of streamers to show the content that they're coming out with. That's totally fine. I did a sponsor stream for New World at one point.
You did.
So I know how much money that can bring in for streamers, and that's a real boon for streamers in actual fact. Like it's one of the few kind of times where you're really confident about, like, feeling like you're being valued by some entity of some form, right? So that's really kind of cool. But who knew that CCP actually do sponsor streams? So now that if you're a streamer out there, think about talking to CCP and be like, hey, you guys do sponsors, you guys sponsor streams these days, like, how can I get in on that? Just a thought. But other than that, we could check out some Reddit stuff. Apparently, if you have an Omega, you can get more. Well, actually, no, not if you've got Omega, but like if you have been if you've been inactive for like 30 days, you apparently can get 10 free plex, and you can get 7 days of Omega for those 10 free plex.
Ooh, 10 free plex. I don't want to tell you how much plex I have. Holy shit.
I'm not quite sure how it applies, because I know that like my Omega characters got it, and my only recently Omega characters got it too. So like, I don't quite know exactly how that's justified as such. Swift does say like alpha accounts that have been inactive for 30 days will be able to get 7 days of Omega free, and apparently those who have logged in, alpha accounts that have been logged in before before that have 7 days of Omega for 10 plex, but don't get the 10 free plex.
Huh.
So kind of confusing, but that's the thing. You know, if you haven't been getting your 7 days of Omega or your 10 free plex, then you know, go sort that out. We did the modules. Oh, one of the other kind of things, one of the other sort of interesting things is one of the new modules. They're just deciding like, oh, because like we can't be asked with like keeping inside of inside of the module area. Like we're just going to start to slowly expand those modules outside of those particular boxes. I hope that's not a new thing, because then essentially all of the icons are going to be like layering on top of each other, and it's just going to look a mess. So hopefully CCP like fixes that as well. The new Battlecruiser warp stuff. Oh yeah, the quotes. So one of the things was the new new show info, right? On ships. They have quotes.
Oh yeah.
And obviously they're quotes that are meant to be sort of quotes from prolific people in the lore or that kind of thing, that show up. But obviously players are putting their own quotes on the where those things are. So, you know, the classic John Hartley quote of, you know what works really well in Dread Bombs? 400 fucking revelations. So we've got a revelation one. We've got obviously a zealot one for Shadu. Yeah, but dude, armor hacks. Classic. And obviously the saber with if we ever leave fucking system again with 2 fucking dictators, I'm killing all of you.
I'm killing all of you.
Classic. So yeah, players have been having fun like making their own quotes and memeing on that, which is great. And if you're an AT kind of aficionado, you probably would have realized that there was a Cobra that died. Jason Flamerad died in his Cobra. But in my opinion, those ships are designed to be taken out and used. And I always applaud anybody who has the balls to go out and actually use one of those rather than just having it sit as like a trophy in gathering dust. So Jason, fucking well done, mate. Well done for having the balls to go out and fucking fight in one of those.
There you go.
Hell yeah. And this something you'd like, Eric. People have been having fun with the 2 different patterns that you can put onto ship skins, and being very patriotic about it.
I love it.
You see that?
There you go. I love the flag everywhere. I love actually everybody's flag.
But yeah,
I mean, you know, I love when people are patriotic to their country. Doesn't really matter where you're from.
And I have to ask whether I do have to ask whether Brisk has one of these yet. Because if not, then I don't believe him. He must have had one of these skins by now.
I can't imagine that he doesn't.
And in keeping with the whole show info, you can now apparently, whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. If you show info on like a returned D-scan result, it'll actually show you the number of kills that ship has had, and the level of mastery that the pilot has of that ship, which I think is a bit much. You know, say for example, you know, like, so you just literally descanned a ship and you want to know, like, you know, what the fuck that is. Like, if you show info on that, somehow just the descan shows you how many kills it's had and, you know, what level of mastery the pilot has in that ship, which I think is a bit fucking much. I think that's
that's a
that's
little.
that's
That
too much
shouldn't be there.
information in my mind. Like, yeah, fair enough. It's interesting that you can technically kind of show that information up in the client, but like that is quintessentially, in my mind, too much information.
Yep, I agree. That's a little much.
Yeah. We'll just get through these real fucking quick because I realize that it is now 23 minutes past the hour.
Yeah, it is. We were only going to go an hour today, and then here we are.
Hurricane Charity Brawl. So there was a hurricane only charity brawl in Zarzak, which was really fucking cool. I don't know. I'm fairly certain Team A, Team B is completely fucked anyway. So like, there's no who won, who lost. It's literally just a fucking brawl of a whole bunch of like fucking ships.
There you go.
But there was a fuckload of ships that died. Swift was there in a Polaris frigate. Yeah, like it looks like over 100 billion was fucking killed, which was fantastic. A lot of fun was had by all, which is fantastic as well. The age of the Ishtar is over.
Oh, too bad.
Nice meme though. I like that meme.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, that's to do with the aggro mechanics now. Obviously. And a few interesting things, right? We posted this in Staff Only channel, so you must have seen it, right?
I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah. Echo's developing. There were some developers in NetEase were fucking arrested for money laundering.
$139 million.
Yep. Fucking insane.
That's a lot of plex.
Now, we're not specifically saying that the people who work on Eve Echoes were the ones laundering money. Like, it's just literally a case of, it was Marvel Rivals employees that were working for NetEase in China. But considering that they worked for NetEase, and NetEase is a partner with CCP who develops Eve Echoes, like that's kind of how that's the connection essentially.
Just a few shekels. Just a few shekels.
Just a few shekels.
Not a cent.
But the other thing that's happened in China as well, with regards to CCP and EVE Online, is there were some updates and interesting kind of additions to the Serenity server in China, which is kind of insane, right? So apparently the Chinese server now has the ability for us to for them to save templates for planetary interaction stuff, and then copy and share them as well, and apply those templates straight out, right? Which I think is
why isn't this insane. On our server?
Exactly, right?
Okay. Why wasn't this part of the deal to fucking begin with? But okay, whatever.
Yeah, there's an update to the kill reports, which now show that there is now have an attack and a support tab, where the support tab will show the repair data sustained during the damage. So basically, the Chinese server now has Logi on kill mails before us, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's crazy.
If you're one of those people who deals with large numbers of expired contracts, then China now has the ability to make multiple selections on the contracts page and just batch close those contracts rather than going through every single one of them and closing all of them individually. So they've now got that as well. There's a whole bunch. It's just fucking stupid. Recovering drones before you jump. There's now a message saying that you're going to be jumping away from a drone rather than just jumping and then realizing, oh, I don't have my drones. Fuck. Like, you can actually have the drones automatically return before you jump, kind of thing. So you can, do that kind of stuff. There is, in the same way that you have a instead of basically like how you can prevent your ship from being warped by the FC, you now have the ability to refuse a regroup as well. So if you don't want to be regrouped by your FC, you can actually mark yourself as refusing a regroup option. We don't have that. Chinese server now does. Like, it's all sorts of things. It's just insane. Like simulating, like, you know, when you're checking a ship out, wouldn't it be nice if you could actually show the you know, all level 5 skills and how that would affect your the you know, the simulation of a ship fit in game. Yeah, we don't have that. China now does. Like the Chinese server now does. And then obviously the last one is literally just a search functionality kind of thing, where they've increased the ability for you to be able to search and get decent results from just searching sort of somewhat fuzzy, somewhat hazy search kind of criteria.
Yeah.
So, you know,
in
all of that,
yes.
all of that coming to a server not near you unless you're in China.
Yep.
Which I think is just fucking crazy.
Crazy.
And if you think that's really infuriating, then be sure to speak about it in Eve, in the Eve subreddit by saying it's time to replace Burger and Rotati, like this person has.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. Other than that, it's just Pandemic Horde taking out some toxic trash member who, you know, was basically saying that you know, somebody should get gunned down, or would be okay about people gunning down people for how they voted in real life, which is just fucking terrible. And then there's a little bit of Pandemic Horde on Goon kind of action, as it were, with regards to Goblin saying some stuff and then being a bit of a hypocrite. But
I thought you were going to say douche, but okay.
Yeah. But I'm sure I'm sure Dave will probably be covering that in some way, shape, or form tomorrow, because there will be a meta show on tomorrow.
There you go.
This time I'm fucking sure of it.
Okay.
Because I checked and I double checked. It's definitely going to be meta show tomorrow, not today. So, and if you're unsure as to exactly what time, you know, check out the schedule on our Twitch page. So, you know, basically twitch.tv/Imperium News /share.
Erik will be golfing.
Erik will be golfing. That's fair enough. You know, if you're here on Sunday, check out the schedule as to exactly when Meta Show is on. But Meta Show will be tomorrow. Guys,
there we go.
Want to know?
Oh no, I won't be golfing. I'm sorry, I won't be golfing. I'm going to the football game.
And once more,
I made that mistake on Tuesday.
And once
more,
go check out our stickers.
Stickers.
Go check out our stickers.
Are you trying to say I should put those all over my new laptop? That's the stickers I should use.
Yes, you definitely should.
Overlapping pattern. Whole deal.
That's where to get the stickers from. So.
All right, brother.
Yeah. Other than that, that's basically that's me. And they're decent stickers as well. So I'm definitely going to be getting some. I hope that.
Yeah, I am too.
I hope you guys. I hope you're going to get one. A set. I'm probably going to get a few. So when especially when the next meet nearby comes around, I can give some stickers out to people. Or I could just like slap some stickers on all sorts of different places. But yeah, man.
I like it.
Fucking good.
See what else we get. How about a Meta Show ugly sweater? Why don't we have a fucking ugly sweater? God damn it. Why does the Meta Show get it?
Well, it's because we haven't designed one yet. Like, well, we haven't put the design together. I'm starting off.
I mean, there's nothing about that ugly sweater that says Meta Show.
We're starting off humble and like, you know, and small at this point in time. So we're being humble about things. But we can potentially, like, I don't know, Erik. Let me know what kind of, you know, ugly ass sweater you want.
Okay, I'll work on that. All right, brother. I gotta run.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for chilling with us for an hour and a half, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, see you next week, where we may be talking pretty heavily about lore.
Will we have a Dirk rant?
We may have a Dirk rant. You never know.
Dirk rant.
He may have felt like he didn't get enough of a rant, or didn't get to rant for long enough. So he may end up actually ranting tomorrow. Not tomorrow, next Saturday. So yeah. Have a good weekend. Check out Metal Show. Have a good weekend. Check out Metal Show tomorrow. And I guess see ya.
Bye.